What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a little bit of a PSA video for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. This is kind of aimed at new players to the game rather than veteran players, as veteran players are probably already well aware of this issue, as well as have their own opinions and take on the matter. Now what I'm talking about is when it comes to certain quests in the game, certain event quests, and the actual master rank required to participate in these said quests. The two biggest culprits and issues that this master rank requirements cause are the Fatalis quest as well as the Alatreon quest. You could also argue in some respects that the Ruiner no Gigante quest is also an issue. Now what do I mean by issue? Well, basically the Alatreon hunt and the Fatalis hunt only require hunters to be master rank 24 or above to participate in them. This, in all honesty, is very low, especially for hunters who are playing the game for the first time. Veteran hunters who are maybe playing through the game for a second time or third time may not have this issue whatsoever. They are probably experienced enough to take on the hunt regardless of their master rank. But players going through the game for the first time, once they reach master rank 24, they haven't even unlocked all of the guiding lands yet and experienced Tempered Elder Dragons, which in my opinion are far more easier than the likes of Fatalis or Alatreon. Now, unfortunately I don't see why, or I can't find any rhyme or reason to why Capcom set things up this way. Maybe it's because Capcom didn't want people to have to grind to master rank 100 before experiencing these monsters. But that being said, these monsters, along with the Tempered Elders and Arch-Tempered Elders, are the pinnacle of the game in terms of difficulty. Apart from if you want to do challenge runs, of course, but those are self-imposed. So new players to Monster Hunter will go through the game like they normally do, get to master rank 24, and then think they are ready to take on Fatalis and Alatreon, and then they're hit by a little bit of a wall. This didn't happen when the game first came out. When the game was launched, Fatalis and Alatreon were the kind of final updates to the game's lifespan. And by that time, most people who were into Monster Hunter were well over master rank 100. They had experienced all the previous other updates, and they had gear that was crafted from the content that you take on at master rank 100. Players taking on Fatalis and Alatreon straight away at master rank 24 are unlikely to have solid builds to take on these hunts, as well as lack the experience. Now I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, and there are some builds that can be perfectly crafted from components prior to master rank 24 that can still do the Fatalis and the Alatreon hunts. But nonetheless, I would personally recommend anyone who is wanting to take on Fatalis and Alatreon to hold off on the two hunts until master rank 100 and you've defeated Tempered Ruiner no Gigante. What I tend to see most of the time is people coming into the game, going up to master rank 24, taking on the likes of Kultaroth, Safi'jiiva, Alatreon, crafting builds collected from those three monsters, and then doing Fatalis. And whilst this is fine, this will get the hunts done. These builds, their armor is some of the best of the game. It will unfortunately make any content after you have defeated Fatalis, especially if you are able to get the Fatalis gear as well, completely trivial. So this is something to consider if you are a new player to the game and you are struggling against Fatalis and Alatreon. Take this and keep this in mind, that it's not necessarily that you're bad at the game or that it's your fault or anything like that. It's just the way that Capcom have actually laid out the event quests and the hunts in this kind of backwards way, so to speak. Like I said, in the game's normal lifespan, it was a case of getting to end game, and then you would go through the guiding lands, get up to master rank 100, unlock Ruiner no Gigante as well as Tempered Elder Dragons, take these on, defeat them. You would then go into Title Update 1, which involved Rajang, Title Update 2, which involved Stygian Zinogre, Title Update 3, which involved Raging Brachydios, and then Furious Rajang, and then you would go into Title Update 4, which involved the likes of Safi'jiiva and Alatreon, and then Title Update 5, which involved the likes of Fatalis and Arch-Tempered Velkhana. This would be the normal progress you would do things, but if you're going through the game for the first time now, you can skip a whole bunch of this content and go straight to Alatreon and Fatalis, and then some players are left unfulfilled at why is this content so difficult, why can't I do it, yada yada yada. And it's not a case of you being bad, it's just that you maybe haven't got to experience the content that would mold you and give you better preparation for these hard, difficult hunts that the game has to offer. I would hope that in future Monster Hunter content that they maybe label these quests a little bit more carefully, shall we say. But I will say there is a downside to this, as the grind to Master Rank 100 is a little bit of a slog, in all honesty. Personally, I would have liked to have seen the full Guiding Lands unlock, as well as Master Rank 100 quests like Runa Nergigante, as well as Tempered Elder Dragons unlock at Master Rank 24, and instead have the event quests involving Alatreon and Fatalis maybe bumped up to 50 or even 100 themselves. But that all being said, there are plenty of guides out there that can help you take on Alatreon and Fatalis, even if you don't have the best equipment or the best builds. There are of course other dedicated build videos elsewhere as well that can assist you a little bit. For example, on my channel there are things called budget builds, which are builds that are normally constructed from kind of lower tier monsters and such, aimed at taking on the likes of Alatreon and Fatalis. So check them out if you do need some help with your builds, because even at the end of the day, even though I may complain about this, Alatreon and Fatalis are still doable at those levels. It just takes a lot of persistence, a lot of learning their patterns and moves, and a lot of time. It could be argued, and some players have suggested, that the reason that Fatalis and Alatreon, and even the Safi'jiiva Siege and Kulftarov Siege, are lower master rank than, say, Runa Nergigante, is because Capcom didn't want players to have to go through that grind. As I mentioned earlier, you can get away with taking on Alatreon and Fatalis with other sets and gear, so maybe this is what they had in mind. However, for me personally, I still think it's better, especially if you are struggling against Fatalis and Alatreon, to push on through that grind, that master rank grind, get access to all the gear and materials that you get from doing Runa Nergigante and other Tempered Elder Dragons. You'll fully unlock all of your Guiding Lands as well, so you'll have access to all the augmentations possible. And by then you should have also built up a chunky and beefy decoration collection, which sometimes at the end of the day is what makes or breaks builds. So keep this in mind. And also, for veteran players out there, do you agree with me on this issue? Please leave a comment down below. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a little bit of a PSA video in regards to the Master Rank requirements for Fatalis and Alatreon in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.